Hello and welcome. My name is Derial, and this is going to be the first episode of the life and suffering of Sir Brante in the times of the fall of the blessed Arknian Empire. And we shall name them Sir Derial Bronte. Well, if chapter restarts having consequences open, just see how things progress. You hold the fate of a single man in your hands. You will follow his life from birth to death. Your choices shall define who Sir Brante will grow up to be. You will decide his personality, social status, and what mark he'll leave on history. With every step he takes at your behest, Sir Brante's character will change and evolve. Your decisions will close some doors for him, but open many others. The world of Sir Brante's birth is a ruthless realm, where people are divided into estates. It is hard to be a hero here. Be ready to accept that Sir Brante cannot overcome every challenge in his path. Every hard choice will test his character and personal qualities. Often, you will not be able to make the choice you would like to. It may happen because you chose a different road earlier, exhausted your hero's willpower, or haven't earned the right position in society. Every victory will be a struggle, a path paved with bitter losses and gut-wrenching failures. Accept the tragedy. This is how you will create a gripping and unique tale for your hero. What will become of your Sir Brante, his loved ones, and his world? It all depends on you.
The story of my life remains written on these pages, but my fate has always been my own. Every deed, every choice, every person I met made me what I am. Could I have taken a different path? Could I have found a different calling? Altered the very course of history? And what price would I have to pay?
At the end of time, your fingers are stained with ink, your breathing grows ragged, your hands are shaking, yet words begin appearing on the page before you, one by one, clinging together to form a chronicle of your own life. Who are you, and how did you reach this end? You were born, raised, and lived your entire life in the blessed Arknian Empire. In this land, a man's destiny is predetermined at the moment of his birth, whether human or Arknian, nobleman or priest, or low-born commoner, all bend towards the divine will of the twin gods. And each life is naught but a single cog in the universe's immeasurable machine. The memories come flooding back. They engulf you as merciless waves, binding together the days that are thrice dead and gone. The dreams of your childhood, your adolescence, your youth spent in the capital, years of peace teeming with life, and a war drenched in blood. High ranks and lowly deeds, opulent palaces, secretive city backstreets, fields of battle, and faces. Oh, so many faces of people you held dear, the people who walked this road by your side. Such was your life, now all exposed by ink erupting onto the page. With your every step you sought to change the world as you saw fit. The choices of your upbringing, the path you carved in your youth, the fruits of your struggle, the consequences of your sacrifice. All of it led you here, to the end of your time. And every choice had a price. Now, years and years later, the crossroads of your life echo in your memory. The pain and joy inextricably intermingled. Could you have taken a different path, chosen a different calling, found a different place in the world? You had the power to alter the very course of history. Now on the verge of death, you struggle with doubt, seeking answers to the last and most crucial question of all. Your life. Of all the parts in life, why do you walk this one? Did you choose your fate, or was it your life shaped by forces beyond your control? What determines a man's destiny? Is there no destiny? Where it does not exist, human life is an exercise in chance. It is not governed by any laws. Could it be a higher power? Your destiny was forged by a power greater than your own will. The world around him, your path was charted for you by the people, the age and the society in which you lived. Or lastly, the man himself. Your life has always been yours to live. You made your own destiny. Let's select the man himself. You can hear death's footstep drawing near. You square your shoulders and take a deep, full breath. You have found your final answer. What is destiny other than a long chain of your own actions and decisions? No matter what happened in your life, you always had a choice. You lived the life you deserved, and only you can answer for it. But are you right about this? Is it all true? To learn the truth, you will have to return to the very beginning, remembering every step you took along the way. On these pages, the story of a man named Derial Brante will live once more. Childhood, 0 years. Chapter 1, Childhood. Childhood, where life begins. First words, first unsteady steps. You are but a small child learning about the world in which you were born. To you, everything is so new, so baffling, and so unforgiving. A long, trying life stretches before you. So many feats and falls, so many fateful choices to come. Yet, you are already sowing the seeds of your future self. You are learning to live and survive in this world, looking for a place within it to call your own, choosing your future destiny. Who will you grow up to be? In your chapters, childhood and adolescence, and youth, you will live through your hero's coming of age. You will shape the protagonist's personality, his qualities and relationship. By the end of the prologue, you will determine the estate and future occupation of your hero. Only in adulthood will he start to influence the world around him, and even the ultimate fate of the Empire. Who will Derial Bronte grow up to be? It's your call. Events in the personal life of the hero that can happen in this chapter. The fencing lesson. You dare to study fencing like your father, even though you have no right to it by birth. Beyond. As a small child, you suffer your first death and rebirth. Insight. You gain an insight when your mother tells you about the ways of the world and the lots of its inhabitants. The Nobleman's Sacrament. You challenge the Sacred Order and attempt to seize a noble lot. Perception has to be equal or greater to 4 and play with the ants. Okay. Your personal qualities at this age, they determine the choices you may take. Determination and perception. Willpower and debts. Your inner strength and the number of lesser deaths you had experienced. These qualities will stay with you for your entire life. And the sections that open in this chapter. The Destiny, Personality, House of Bronte, and Family screens. So currently we have a tarnished honor, moderate wealth, and peace. And here's the family tree. Okay. Let us begin the chapter. Birth. At first, there was nothing. No time, no sensation, nothing but darkness and void. But then a will breathed life into nothingness. Matter, spirit, were set in motion. History began its march. It was your turn to enter this world. Your first memory. You are lying on your back, blinded by a bright white light. You are not alone. Above you tower the colossal figures of those who created you. You are a part of them, and they are a part of you. Between you and them is an inexplicable connection, a strong, unbreakable link. They will always watch over you, guard you, and protect you. It hurts to breathe. You let out the pain in the form of a desperate scream. Your creators extend their hands towards you. There are 2 of them. The ones who made your form from their own selves and brought you into this world. They are united. Yet, as they lean closer, you begin to see how different they are. You can already feel their differences from within you, struggling against each other. The first figure is soft and empathetic, wise and merciful. The love that emanates from it wraps you head to toe like an invisible blanket. The warmth from it is never ending. The second figure is strong and powerful, commanding and noble. It is harsh but fair, a beacon of guidance, a force of protection, and merciless punishment for every misdeed. Yet, there is also a third figure. It is like a shadow, barely seen behind them, yet already pulsing with an unbreakable will to live. It is the very will to live that is now growing ever stronger within you. A soft, open palm, a strong, closed fist, a lingering, distant shadow. You struggle to loosen the swaddling clothes wrapped around you and extend a tiny hand into the world. Do we reach out to the palm, grasp at the first of figures by the finger, reach out to the fist, you place a tiny hand on the second figure's closed fist, or we smile at the shadow, you smile at the figure standing beneath them. So, your little palm awkwardly clasps the soft finger. You explore your mother's hand by touch. She smiles gently as her arms wrap up around you and lift you up. She smells of home, that indescribable smell, that feeling of safety that is second to none. Her embrace is the warmest place in the world, a place where you want to stay for all eternity. Perception +1. The year is 1118. Your life in this world begins. How will you live it? One-year-old. As the days go by, you learn to tell your parents apart. You recognize father by his heavy breath and strong, cold hands. He visits you rarely. Robert Bronte. Hello there, little Derial Bronte. Mother's tender voice, however, follows you day and night. Lydia Bronte. My, you're growing so quickly, my child. There are 2 more children in the family, named Stephen and Gloria. Gloria sings songs to you. She often dresses you in tight clothing and gently holds your hand as you learn to take your first steps. Stephen likes to sweep you up and pinch you and toss you into the air. Lydia Bronte. Oh, look! This is your older brother and sister. Stephen Bronte. Try and think about the voice for him. Yeah, you're my little brother. We're gonna play together. I'll always be in charge, 'cause you were born a commoner. Gloria. Be quiet, you. He doesn't understand yet. Come on, baby Derial. Let's go play in the yard. It is hot outside. You grip your brother's hand with one hand and your sister's with another as they help walk you down the giant stone stairs. Then you sit on the ground and start exploring the sparse blades of grass with your fingers. Tickles. In the sky, far above and away from you, is a gigantic pillar. Perfectly straight stick made of light. It's so bright, it hurts to look at it. Stephen. Why are you staring at the shining pillar? It's not going anywhere, you know. Hey, wanna play hide and seek? Gloria. He's just a little baby. How's he going to play? Stephen. Then you hide him, and I'll try to find both of you. You have no idea what they're talking about, but you support them with happy cooing. This is strange, but oh so exciting. Stephen and Gloria glance at each other. Then your brother walks to a big tree, closes his eyes and starts shouting something. Gloria takes your hand and walks you through the yard. Your sister takes you behind some thick brushes by the wall. The light from that light stick on the horizon barely reaches here. You can't see home from this place. The ground is crawling with tiny black bugs. Gloria sits you down on the ground and puts a finger on her mouth for some reason. And then she's gone. You can no longer hear Stephen's voice. Gloria is nowhere to be seen. You feel colder. The bugs are no fun to play with. You've been sitting here for a long time, completely alone. Nobody checks on you. Did they forget about you? Did they abandon you? We can either cry loudly, hoping to be found. Find your way home. You get off the ground and start crawling through the brushes to find your way back home. Or we can sit and wait. You start playing with leaves and twigs and little bugs. Let's sit and wait. The bush is covered with leaves swaying in the wind. You brush through them with your fingers. The twigs and branches are stiff and will not bend. They are different from the blades of grass. Down on the ground you see a group of bugs carrying a little twig. You grab it from them. It's so funny. One of the bugs crawls onto your finger and bites it. Just enough to sting a little. You hear brisk steps, and then the leaves and twigs rustling and parting. Your mother leans over you. You greet her with a happy face, and show her the finger with the bug on it. Lydia Bronte. So that's where they took you. Mother picks you up, puts you on her chest, and pats you on the head. Your brother and sister stand behind her, clearly feeling guilty. Gloria's in tears. Stephen keeps staring at his feet. You hug Mother tightly. She is here now. Perception +1. Curious. Two years of age. Another memory. You are still a little child, but you can already talk and run around on your own. Today is out of the ordinary. Father is busy around the house, giving orders to the servants. Throughout the day, the kitchen has been abuzz with work, and there are solemn, gloomy preparations and candles being lit. Even your older brother Stephen is quiet today. Mother takes your hand and brings you to your sister Gloria. Lydia Bronte. My son, today is the great dissent. We honor the day when the twin gods descended to us. We must spend this day in reverence to the gods. You're too young to understand, so just do everything your sister says for now. Gloria takes you to the playroom. There are no toys there. No chairs, even the carpet has been taken away. There is nothing there but bare wooden floor. Gloria. Today, we're not allowed to go to any other room, and we'll be eating nothing but gruel and stale bread. On the day of the Great Dissent, everyone must be where they belong. It's quiet. Unusually so. Muffled voices from beyond the doors are all you can hear. You're sitting on the cold floor, confused, with no idea what to do. Then you hear your sister's voice, a lonely sound in the empty room. It is a little song that Mother taught her. You hold your breath as you listen to it. When the twins came down to earth, they brought lots for every birth. Let us count them, 1, 2, 3. The twins made them for you and me. Nobles rule and bravely fight. They protect us with their might. Priests work hard to understand, guide us by the twins' commands. Common people work and toil, always patient, never spoiled. Live your lot where you were born, to the day when you pass on. Know your lot and know the prayer for the twins, see everywhere. You're transfixed by the tune. Gloria notices your gaze, and a smile creeps across her face. Do you like the rhyme, don't you, Derial? Do you know what it's all about? Look, there are 3 lots. They were brought to us by the twins when they descended to us from the shining pillar. You remember that pillar of light on the horizon? Yeah, that's it. You can see the shining pillar anytime from anywhere in the world. If you follow your lot as you live, you'll reach out to the peak of the pillar. And if you don't, you'll get eternal torment at the foot. You and I are lowborn. Mum is a commoner too. So the lot for you and me is to suffer and be patient and work hard. Understand? The priests and nobles have other lots. The nobles fight and rule over everybody. The priests, well, I'm not really sure what they do, but I guess they talk to the twins and teach everybody. Gloria stares at you intently. Gloria stares at you intently. Did you get silly? Did you get it, silly? Then she shakes her head and keeps singing the song over and over again. Her voice transfixes you, drawing you in. The room starts to glow like the sky. From this light emerges 2 figures you have known ever since the moment of your birth. One of them embraces your sister's shoulder. The other stands guard behind her back. You watch this happening before your very eyes, unable to turn away. Gloria is swaying to the song, unaware of what is happening. She sings the final verses once more. Know your lot, and know the prayer. You feel compelled by this divine sight to express yourself somehow. You feel the words condensing within you from the light. But what will those words be? Finish the song properly, or sing the last line wrong. Let's finish it properly. Gloria, know your lot and know the prayer, for the twins see everywhere. You sing the last line together with Gloria. Your sister looks up at you in surprise and gives you a nod. The shining pair standing behind her back turn to look at you. You can feel their gaze piercing you from top to bottom. When the moment passes, they melt into the dim light coming from the window. Gloria turns her head to look at where you were staring. Did you see something, Derial? You shake your head. Not anymore. Perception +1. Curious. At 3 years of age, you're starting to understand more and more of what the adults say. Your family is an unusual one. Your father is a nobleman, but not by birth. His is a title earned through great service, but your mother is a low-born woman, commoner. Because of this, you were born a commoner, but father says you may yet come onto nobility. You learn to read at an early age, together with mother. You read and learn by heart the many poems about the divine twins, the gods who reside upon the shining pillar. Your mother calls these poems prayers. Again and again, you try to discern the shapes of the gods in the strip of holy light that shines in the sky all day and night, but the light is too blinding to gaze upon. The greatest joy of all is when the stairs are no longer an insurmountable obstacle. Now you can climb, and even jump from step to step. Father urges you to be more careful and avoid climbing too high. But even though you keep falling, you never stop being curious about the world around you. Your older brother, Stephen, now spends less and less time playing with Gloria and you. Playing with commoners is beneath a nobleman to be, he says. So Gloria calls him names, and Stephen pulls on her pigtails. One fine evening, father gathers you all in the sitting room with an announcement. You will have another little brother or sister soon. Gloria asks him to bring home a little sister. Another brother would be too much, and Stephen gets frustrated. There are too many siblings getting in his way as it is. Soon you will be an older brother too, and it doesn't really matter who the youngest will be, boy or girl. You will love them the most. When father comes back from his trips, he reads his adult books aloud for you. You find these stories of wars, generals and rebellions quite enchanting, and father approves of your fascination. Robert Brante. Study hard, and maybe one day you will become a noble of the mantle and earn your sword. But first, you need to grow up. Growing up, the concept is as terrifying as it is alluring. You keep staring at the carpet under your feet. You're both ashamed and proud, and it feels odd. A scratch on your hand stings a little. Stephen, standing next to you, sniffling from pain. Your brother was training in the earth with a wooden sword. You wanted to play with him, but he ended up getting angry and throwing the sword at you. The stick hit you in the shoulder. You picked it up and hit him with it. You see mother's shoes walking to and fro on the carpet. You do not want to look up. You'd rather not see her angry. She is not as gentle to you these days. Lydia Bronte. Why did you hurt Stephen, Derial? You stammer out an explanation. He hit you first. You just hit him back. Stephen. How dare he pester me like that? When I grow up, I'm gonna hit you with a real sword. Mother shushes you both and speaks to you again. Her voice is stern, and yet you can still feel her concern for you. Lydia Brante. Even if Stephen hits you, you cannot hit him back. You are my son, and I was born a commoner. Our lot is to suffer. But your brother was born from a noble father and noble mother. His sacrament is coming soon, and then he'll rule over the likes of us. If you hurt a noble, you must be punished. That is your lot, and the sooner you learn it, the better off our entire family will be. Now Stephen looks at you in triumph. You look up to Mother in fear, not sure what to do now. So we can accept our punishment, reduce our willpower, and get better relations with Stephen. You could deny our guilt and increase our determination. Demand an explanation. Why are things like this? You start asking questions. Why were you born a commoner if your father is a noble? If you have your father's name, why can't you have his lot? And why can't you choose a lot for yourself if you don't like the one you have? Mother is stunned by all the questions you are peppering her with. Lydia. Don't you dare ask me about that, Derial. I'll violate my lot if I start explaining it all to you. I'm a commoner, not a priest. You are flogged in front of your entire family. The pain burns on your skin again and again. Tears keep rolling down your cheeks. Feels like the punishment will never end. Hurts to walk when you're finally let go. Slowly climb the stairs and walk to your room. You see a book on your bed. The Teachings of Isatias, Volume 2. Isatias? Yeah, Isatias. Your tears have dried now. You begin to read, slowly making your way through the difficult words. Every death of the body bringeth the soul ever closer to the twins' judgment. And when the body dieth a true death, the soul soareth unto the shining pillar. The twin gods do judge every soul, and their judgment is stern and unforgiving. He who followeth his lot in life from birth shall melt with bliss atop the peak of the shining pillar. The words confuse and elude you, instilling fear and awe. You will read this mysterious book again and again as you grow up. Mother mostly stays in her chambers now. With each passing day she grows heavier and her features grow rounder. It's difficult for her to walk, but she smiles all the same. One day she takes you by your hands and puts them on her big belly, and you can feel a movement deep inside her. You will have another brother or sister soon. Gloria takes you on walks to the yard now. You explore the yard together, and under the evening light of the pillars she sings you songs and tells you amazing stories. Gloria. Hey, Derial, do you want to hear a rhyme? I wrote it myself. There's even a bit about you, but don't tell anyone, okay? Writing poems and songs is only for nobles. If Mummy hears about it, I'll get flogged. Remember how you got flogged for hitting Stephen? Our judge is my second father. In the past I had another. Mother says the twins are great. Says we should not fight our fate. Brother loves to jump around. Please don't fall down onto the ground. See, I wrote a little rhyme, but Please don't tell them it's mine. But today, your sister is nowhere to be seen. She promised to take you to the old pond and show you the big red frog that lives there. Then she vanished. The servants join you in your search. Even Mother leaves her chambers when she hears the commotion. Finally, you find Gloria in the far corner of the garden. She is holding a quill and sheets of paper covered in poetry. Mother becomes angry the moment she sees it. She looks through the poetry and her face grows dark with rage. Gloria standing before her, wringing her hands and looking for an opportunity to run, but there is no escape. What is this nonsense, Gloria? We talked about this. You are told to take care of your little brother. You are absolutely not allowed to entertain yourself with this writing. I can decide that for myself, Mum. No, you cannot. It has already been decided by the gods. And he is not a little brother anymore. He doesn't need a nanny, and I need some time alone to think for myself. I'm not hurting anyone. You are a commoner and a future wife. It is time you learned how to properly care for children. Had your disgraceful former father kept me in his house, you could have been born a noble. But that is not our fate, and you are absolutely forbidden from ever spoiling paper and wasting ink again. Mother grabs Gloria firmly by the hand and takes you both into the house. The scribbled sheets fly into the fireplace. Gloria sobs violently. You are a bystander to the scene, unsure of how to act. So we can't complain about our sister because our determination is too low. However, we can offer to write rhymes with her. When nobody can hear you, you offer to write poems with Gloria. You can comfort our sister. You comfort Gloria and say that nothing and that Mother is wrong. Or we can retreat to our room without saying a word. But we're kind of caught up in all this. So let's make sure we don't get the flogging as well. You slip out of the sitting room and go back to the playroom before the scene reaches a conclusion. You can still hear Mother yelling and Gloria crying behind your back as you leave. Back in the playroom, you start building a formidable fortress out of wooden blocks to busy yourself. If only you had toy soldiers to storm it. A little later, the playroom door opens. Gloria, you're not mad at me, are you? You shake your head. Can I stay with you for a while? You nod and return to your game. Gloria sits on the floor in a faraway corner of the room. At 4 years of age, winter, becoming sacrament. Mother is in her armchair, knitting woolen jackets and pants and socks for the little one. The baby will need to keep warm, she says. Father spends less time at home now. Mother says he's very busy with his important job. He is a judge, after all. One day you decide to ask Mother about Stephen and Gloria. How come they're brother and sister to you, but not siblings to each other? Well, my dear, I didn't give birth to Stephen, you see. He is the son of another mother, and Gloria's the daughter of another father. Come now, don't knit your brow like that. You'll understand when you're older. How is that even possible? You're all family, are you not? Several days later, Mother calls Stephen and Gloria to the sitting room. You sneak in after them. At first, Mother gets angry and asks you to leave. Then she relents. You're told to sit still, be quiet, and remember every word you hear. Lydia Bronte. When you entered the temple, bow to the twins. First to the elder on the right and then the younger on the left. Stephen, you're a nobleman to be, so walk along the side paved with marble, where the benches are. Gloria, you walk along the sharp side. When you're there, you must get down on your knees, each on your own side. Stephen, kiss the sword. Gloria, my daughter, they will strike you with a lash. Don't be afraid of it. Resign yourself to the suffering it brings. It's the blessing of your lot. Gloria doesn't like the idea of the lash. There's a tense feeling in your chest as well. You were told to remember this. Will the lash strike you too one day? On the next day, they take your brother and sister to the temple. You run towards them when they finally come back. The back of Gloria's dress is soaked with blood. She's haunched a bit, sobbing quietly. Stephen is putting on airs, acting prouder than ever. Nothing else looks different about them. It's all the same. And yet, everything has changed. Oh, sorry about that. Each of them has accepted their lot. Stephen Bronte, -1 relations. Unity, -1 disagreements. Your siblings, Stephen and Gloria, took their first sacrament at the temple. You eyed the little bundle in your father's arms with curiosity. Behind the many layers of swaddling clothes is your newborn baby brother. Mother is glowing and smiling with joy. Stephen and Gloria are also here, all excited. You promise yourself you're going to be the best big brother in the world. You'll never hit him, oh no. The two of you will play together and tease Stephen together and help Mother together and go on so many adventures together. Feels oh so strange to be an older brother. Just the other day you were the youngest in the family, but everything is different now. Your parents name your little brother Nathan, and Mother spends day and night by his side. Nathan cries all the time, day and night, so Mother barely gets any sleep. She's so worn out, she starts forgetting things. Like today, for instance. She forgot her knitting in the armchair in the sitting room. You best bring it back to her as soon as possible. You run to Mother's bedroom. You miss her smile so much. You walk in without saying hello and give her the knitting, but instead of gratitude, you get an ice-cold, exhausted stare. Nathan is also there, screaming all the time. Lydia. Go away, Derial. You're bothering me. She spits these words out through her teeth. You look at the bawling newborn. She can't even get a minute of respite. Enough already. When are you going to stop? I just want some peace and quiet. Mother leaps across the room and starts shaking Nathan with malice in her eyes. His cries get even louder. She looks so tired from his never-ending screams. She seems to be within an inch of smashing him against the wall. Somebody has to do something. You are scared of your mother right now, but you fear for Nathan's life much more. We can call father for help. You run to your father's study as fast as you can and ask him to calm her down. We can redirect her anger onto us to try your best to bring her back to her senses. Or you can snatch her from mother. You can snatch Nathan from mother. You take Nathan from mother and run away. Let's redirect her anger to spare our brother. Mother keeps shaking Nathan violently, and you cannot stay away any longer. He is no longer bawling, he is shrieking. Lydia Bronte, just leave me alone. But then out comes your voice, so loud it drowns out their cries. No, it's not Nathan's fault, Mother. You're just tired. Please don't do anything to my little brother. If you have to punish somebody, punish me instead. He's too young. He won't understand. Your mother freezes and looks at you, her eyes two narrow slits. Her stare is cold and full of pure wrath, so pure you cannot help but recoil in fear. Are you trying to teach me how to take care of a child? Are you giving me lessons on calming a newborn baby? You're insolent, insipid, nagging know-it-all. It's time you learnt your place. She puts Nathan on the bed sheets and then moves towards you. You step back, but a closed door blocks your way. She slaps you across your face. Your ears ring heavy from the blow, and your cheek burns from her wrath. You wince and close your eyes, expecting a second slap. But nothing comes. Nothing but Mother's heavy breath and Nathan's shrill cries. There is a knock at the door. You step aside. Father walks in. He looks at you, clutching a reddened cheek, at the bawling baby, at Mother. Her eyes red with rage and tears, her breath heavy and ragged. Robert Brante, go to your room, son. I'll join you soon. You do as you're told. Back in your room, you press your aching cheek against the cold window, hurt and dazed by what just happened. Soon enough, Nathan stops crying. You hear Father's heavy footsteps in the hallway. He comes into your room and sits on the bed next to you. Son, please do not be angry with your mother. We twins know she wishes nobody any harm. This is a difficult time for her, but we will make it true as a family. You stepped up to protect your brother. You acted like a little nobleman today. I'm proud of you. Your mother and Nathan are resting now. How bad does it hurt? You shake your head. Not bad, but your hand still clutches. Your hand still aches to clutch the cheek. Father embraces you with a sorrowful smile and gingerly pats you on the head as you press your forehead into his housecoat. Things grow calm now. The trouble has passed, and you are quietly happy. Year 1122, your younger brother Nathan is born. Childhood, 1123. The ant farm. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Conditions met. Perception 4. The ant farm. Your younger brother Nathan is growing. Mother spends more time with the rest of the family now. You help her and play with your brother and take care of him when she asks. You often go to Mother's room to sit at the foot of her bed after Nathan falls asleep. She reads you the sacred books and asks you about the things you have learned that day. During these moments, you see the world through her eyes as well. One day, the door of your room opens as she brings a large box covered with a piece of cloth. It is rare for you to see her so overjoyed. She sets the box on the floor and removes the cloth. The box under the cloth is made of glass and has a wooden base. Inside, you see a layer of earth shaped into carefully crafted passages. These passages are full of hard-working ants. Derial, this is my gift to you, an ant farm. It's a little world in a small box. We can watch them through the glass. Look, this is the queen ant. She is the reason all these little ants were born. You sit by the box together. You hold your breath as you watch the ant colony at work. There turns out to be a method to the ants' chaotic movements. Every single one of them has a task to perform. Some of them have larger mandibles. They are the protectors of the colony. They can draw blood from your finger. The others work all round the colony, repairing the walls and clearing any debris from the passages. There are also workers who collect food you put in a special tray. Leaves, bits of meat, maggots, and bring it to the rest of the colony. You take a worker ant and put it right next to the food. However, the insect has no interest in it. It starts circling around the tray aimlessly. Mother takes the stray ant and puts it back where it belongs. Why did you do that, my son? The ants cannot do what they weren't born to do. Each one of them was born for their own job. You shake your head slowly. If only the ants could do whatever you wanted them to do. This is your gift now, so they belong to you. Or maybe Mother's presence is the reason they won't obey you. I'm curious what the insight is. You move the box, you move away from Mother and pull the glass box towards yourself. She looks at you in surprise, but she gave it to you. It'll be easier to learn about the ants on your own. Mother sighs and stands back up. Very well. I understand you want to find your own answers. You've grown up so quickly, my son. The door creaks quietly as it closes and you are left to your own devices. You spend a long time watching the ants at work and then you decide to go outside and find them some bugs to feed on. Once your haul is on the tray, you note which bugs they drag away and which they leave untouched. Day after day you keep the tray full of food, provide the insects with plenty of water, and remove the dead ants from the farm. Your tiny subjects still refuse to change their peculiar ways. It's just as Mother said. The ant farm is exactly like the world we live in. The ants will never know that you were there. So we lost a little bit of family unity. We gained perception. And the insight. Experience an insight where your mother tells you about the ways of the world and the lots of its inhabitants. Toy soldiers. You wake up to your father's touch on your shoulder. He's finally back home after a long trip. Robert Brante. Derial, today is your special day. The day when you begin your studies. Now teachers will be coming to our home to teach you, and you must do everything they say. Be diligent in your studies, and you will grow closer to the nobleman's lot. And since you must remember this day, a present is in order. Lydia, get our little schoolboy dressed. I am taking him to the market district. Stephen wants to come too, but father shushes him away sternly. This is your day. Your elder brother is hurt to hear this, but stays quiet. An open carriage takes the two of you through the dusty, noisy city streets, a pleasant wind tussling in your hair. Your city is called Anisota. That you already know, it is one of the largest cities in the entire empire. There is a big shadow on the street. It comes from the white foliage of an enormous tree. It spreads its branches all above the city. Robert, my son, did you know that the silver tree grew from the blood of our God's own disciples? It has been growing here for hundreds of years, right in our city. It cannot be damaged or burned. Not even the clergy knows why. The carriage comes to a halt by a small shop next to a city square. You run there and freeze by the stalls in excitement. The shop is packed with dolls and figurines and toys. You have never seen so many of them at once before. Have you chosen your present yet? Father asks. You have. You want the Holy Order set, which includes several figurines of the Empire's greatest warriors of all time. You rattle off everything you know about the Holy Order. They were the ones who aided the Emperor's own forces in seizing the province of Magra and storming our city. That's how we joined the Empire. Father nods in approval. Very well. War isn't one of your lots for now, but maybe these toy soldiers will teach you how to think like a general. We will lead them into battle and study military strategy. Go ahead, take your present. Having said this, Father turns away to examine the books. You run to the box of toy soldiers, delirious with excitement. But there is a fancy-dressed boy in your way. He is about to take your warriors for himself. He elbows you aside and reaches for the box. Anger overcomes you and you push him from behind. Your opponent falls to the floor. The rich boy screams so loudly that everyone in the shop hears it. He hit me! He hit me! A tall tower of a man looms over you. This is the boy's father. But then you feel your own father's hands on your shoulders. What happened? You press against your father, your mind more at ease now. He will protect you. Yes, you shoved the boy to the floor in front of everyone, but he tried to take your present for himself. Father turns you around to face him when he hears these words. Is this true, Derial? Did you strike the son of a nobleman? You quietly say that it was an accident. You tell Father that you repay the impudent boy in kind. Or we admit our guilt. I mean, hey, look, Pops is a cool person. And he took us out for presents, so at the very least we can tell him the truth. It isn't fair to blame you without letting you speak too. You didn't want to shove that stupid boy, he was the one that shoved you first. But the angry nobleman, the boy's father, will not let you finish. Nobody cares a whit for your so-called truth. Little lowborn, the law is the law and your punishment is due. Your father nods in agreement to these words, no matter how sad they may make him. They lead you and the nobleman's son out of the shop. You are told to bow to him and show humility. That feeling sends a shiver down your spine. With a satisfied grin on his face, the boy swings his arm and slaps you on the cheek. He strikes you again and again. Enough. He got what he deserved. We're leaving. Get out of our way. Your head is swimming from the heavy blows. You return to your senses, back in your bed with servants treating your face. Father stays by your side all day. The morning after, you find a little box on your bed with the tin soldiers of the Holy Order inside. You paid dearly for your stubbornness. Childhood, 6 years. Today, Father ordered the dinner table to be brought out into the yard. For the first time in months, his home. Outside of the confines of his always locked study. He spent the entire day playing with Nathan and you, discussing various matters with Stephen, now an adolescent, and walking in the garden, and now at dinner under the open sky. Your entire family gathers together, with Father at the head of the table, smiling. He asks each of you about your studies. Nathan climbs atop his knee and recites a counting rhyme in a funny sing-song voice. And Nathan climbs up. Stephen mentions that his fencing teacher praised his accomplishments. He raises from the table together with Father to show his skill in a practice duel. Next comes Gloria's turn. She stands on her chair and recites a lengthy prayer by heart. Mother showers your sister with praise. Father chuckles quietly, hiding a smile in his mustache. When your turn comes, you recite all the ranks in the Legion, from common soldier to high commander. Stephen listens to you with a skeptical look on his face. Night slowly falls, but the servants ensure your yard is well illuminated. You don't feel cold in the dusk tonight. It feels good, yet so important. All of you are finally together, sitting at the same table. No fighting, just smiles. No arguing, just pleasant, small talk. A servant approaches Father with a letter in his hand. He reads it in the dim light, and each line gradually washes the smile of Father's face until only a stone-cold mask remains. Mother looks at Father with an unspoken question in her eyes. Gregor Bronte is coming back to Anazota. He is the head of our family. My father. The year 1124, your grandfather Gregor Bronte returned to the family home from the capital. Ever since the news of grandfather's impending arrival, there has not been a single day where the house has not been cleaned or decorated. Your parents anxiously make sure everything is in order. They tell you to wash your face and hands after walks and scold you for leaving books on the floor. They tell Gloria she will be flogged if she is ever seen hiding in the attic. They will make Stephen stay in his room. Even the baby Nathan gets in trouble. Everyone is on edge. Then, one day, grandfather arrives. It is a grim day, so hot your neck is sticky with sweat. father, mother, Stephen, Gloria, you and Nathan, the entire Bronte family stands on the porch in front of the house. The house servants line up behind you. The carriage arrives, and out steps a tall, gaunt old man with a heavy walking stick and a heavier gaze. You cringe instinctively. Robert Bronte. Good health to you, father. Children, greet your grandfather as you have been taught. Gregor Bronte. Still trying to look like a real nobleman, are you? You can't fool me, Robert. I was the first of the Bronte family to be ennobled by the mantle, and I am the only one who remembers how to bear this burden properly. I live honorably by my lot. Your marriage to that low-born wench cuts us off from ever becoming nobles of the sword. My progeny could have been born bearing noble blood. Father, I beg of you, this is not the place. Your grandfather eyes him with scorn and walks into the house, the entire family following closely behind him. I have been away for far too long. This entire house is a mess. This is an insult. How can you live in such a pigsty, Robert? The servants have grown far too lazy, all thanks to your commoner of a wife. I warned you, did I not? And yet you did as you saw fit. And the children, what do they know of tradition or honor? They are being raised in a virtuous family, father. And now you're speaking like a lowborn who's content to live in humility. Twins willing. Now that I am here, this will not happen again. I am taking your oldest son to the capital. I see you cannot provide Stephen with a proper education, so I will correct your mistake. Your brother's fate has just been decided like that. Father does not object. He orders the servants to prepare Stephen for his journey. Stephen freezes in place, glancing at grandfather and father again and again. The latter puts a hand on his shoulder reassuringly. Grandfather's lips are a tight line, white with contempt. The house is examined, room after room. Everything grandfather sees is showered with scorn. He scoffs at a crease on a blanket in Nathan's crib. In mother's bedroom, he mocks Gloria's knitting in her room. The door to your room is next. What's this, Robert? Tin soldiers in your younger son's room? He was born a commoner. I won't have him daydreaming of battle. Grandfather seizes the box containing the tin warriors of the Holy Order. Your father stays silent. Anger and fear boil within you. This is your big present from the first day of your studies. It meant so much to you. But what if he's right? What if you need to prove your right to command the toy soldiers first? Grandfather shakes his head in disapproval and shoves the toy box into the roaring fireplace. If you wait too long, they will melt in the flames. So we can watch them melt helplessly. We can rescue... Well, we can't rescue the Tin Warriors because our determination is too low. We can burst into tears, crying, overwhelmed by the horrible sight. Or we can strike grandfather, driven mad by anger and injustice. You kick grandfather in the leg. Let us watch them melt helplessly. Grandfather is right. These toys are nothing but a distraction from your studies. The wood crackles, the tin melts. The unpleasant smell of burning paint fills the room. Father grimly orders the servants to douse the fire and clean the mess that was your birthday present just a few moments ago. You watch the servants at work with a strange fascination, experiencing an odd feeling of freedom. It all seems right now. It's time for you to grow up. Grandfather leaves to examine the other rooms of the house. Soon grandfather leaves. Your elder brother Stephen goes with him. From that day on, fathers hired teachers to tend to you alone. They bore you with monotonous lectures on writing, counting, and the ways of life in the blessed Arknian Empire. Arknian? Yeah. Arknian. You often distract yourself from the instruction by playing with your younger brother Nathan. Your home grows quiet without your elder brother. Too quiet. Weeks later, your family receives a letter from Stephen. Grandfather has sent him to a boarding school for nobles. And now he is studying hard in preparation for his service as a nobleman. Stephen. The rules here are way too strict. You can't even sneeze without the teacher's permission. But I've been studying with my peers. We're learning how to live as nobles in a noble society. We're also learning the art of swordplay. That's my favorite part. With Stephen now at the boarding school, grandfather arrives once more. This time to live in your home. The only good thing is that he often has urgent business in Eterna, the capital of the empire, and has to travel there. One day you ask your mother where he lived before. In Eterna, she says, but now his place is here. Each time grandfather returns, he gives the servants new orders. Your home is now always busy with repairs. The servants are redecorating grandfather's chamber, including his library and sitting room. Sometimes father tries to gently talk him out of this. Why subject the house to constant reconstruction? Grandfather's answer is always the same. This home is mine, and I will live here as befits a man of nobility. Some days grandfather stays home, and on those days you try your best to stay out of his sight. But there is no way you can avoid family breakfast. The food is there, but you cannot bring yourself to eat it. Mother's eyes are red and swollen. She has been crying all night again. Grandfather sits at the head of the table, where nobody used to sit before. Robert, it's high time your youngest sons underwent their sacraments. Sir Bronte, please, let them live free of the lot for a while longer. They are but...
Shut your mouth, Robert! That wife of yours is impertinent enough to interrupt me. If this ever happens again, she'll be eating her gruel with the servants in the kitchen where she belongs. It's time you considered a real marriage, Robert. To a woman of the proper station.
Gloria drops her fork. Grandfather shoots her a scathing look. A tear rolls down mother's cheek. Father does not look away from the plate, his hands clenched into fists.
Baroness Elodar is one such woman. She is a comely widow and a fine match. She is suing for her inheritance right now and could use proper support and a husband. You can keep your low-born Lydia around if you like, a servant, mistress, I don't care.
I will not do that, father.
I am the head of this family, and the family's standing took a severe blow after you married that commoner. It is unthinkable. How could you give up the memory of my beautiful Amelia born for this lowly woman and that bastard child of hers? Fine, but now you have a chance to set things right. Don't disappoint me.
Father nods curtly, trying to not look in mother's direction. Father, I wish to see Stephen. If I find your conduct in the Baroness's presence satisfactory enough, then you may see him. She is coming for a visit tomorrow. Be prepared. Grandfather wipes his mouth with his napkin and throws it onto his plate and leaves. Mother's lips move silently. Nobody says a word. Then father stands up and orders you and the other children back to your rooms. He needs to speak with her privately. Father comes to your room before bedtime. He sits on the edge of the bed and adjusts the crease on a woolen blanket. He distanced himself from you after Stephen's departure, so are not used to such attention from him. In the candlelight you can see his face in the dark. There is a sour expression on it. My son, Baroness Emma Lodar, will be visiting us tomorrow. Please be polite and treat her with respect. Nathan will do as you do. I want this dinner to be as immaculate as possible. Don't let me down. On the next day, Mother starts dressing you and Nathan for the coming dinner. You can see red all around her eyes. She has been crying, and for a long time. It hurts just to look at her. Nathan starts whining quietly. You and Nathan are dressed in new doublés, your tousled hair brushed into shape. Gloria is told to stay in her room. Father appears wearing his best suit. Mother is in a humble brown dress, looking pale. Grandfather has an uncharacteristically contented look about him. You hear the sound of wheels and hoofs against cobble in the yard, then a pair of dainty heels come clacking. The antechamber is completely quiet and still, fearing Grandfather's observant eye. The door opens. You see your guest, a beautiful, dark-haired woman in a dress of elegant deep blue. Father takes the hand of Lady Lodar and kisses it, showering her in compliments. Grandfather's face is beaming in her presence. Nobody even bothers to introduce Mother. Gregor. Baroness, allow me to introduce you, Robert's sons, Derial and Nathan Brante. Frankly, it's his eldest son, Stephen, who deserves the most attention, but currently he is studying in Eterna with other young noblemen like himself. It is my hope that his younger sons will also make me proud one day. Grandfather eyes you with a probing look. How will you act in front of the Baroness? Will you accept her here as next to your mother? Your father's rightful wife? We can greet the Baroness politely, increase reputation, lower unity, lower relations with Lydia, but increase them with Robert and Gregor. Walk away with Mother at the cost of reputation, increase perception, and a reverse on the relations. Maintain your composure. You greet Lady Elodar with restraint and avoid getting too involved in the event. Or could demand that Mother be introduced. Well, with grandfather acting this way if only because of the family's reputation, let's see if working with him gets us something. You follow father's example and kiss the Baroness's finger gently. Her laughter fills the antechamber, ringing like chimes. You gallantly offer to lead her to the sitting room. Lady Lodar graciously agrees. Behind your back you can hear Mother sobbing. Grandfather and Baronessa Lodar engage in small talk over dinner. She tells him of the woes of litigation over her late husband's inheritance, and he advises her, like the judge he is. Father is mostly silent, only getting in a word or two. You do your absolute best to behave yourself. After the decorous farewells to Lady Lodar, Father quickly thanks you for your model behavior. The morning after, he leaves for Eterna with Grandfather to visit Stephen. Mother spends almost an entire day in the bedroom. You cannot bring yourself to speak to her. Father returns from the capital in a quiet rage. You overhear your parents talking. Apparently, Grandfather has already poisoned Stephen's mind against him, and he greeted Father with cold hostility. The name of Baronessa Lodar is never mentioned in the house again. Damn. You're of modest position at the very least, but there are disagreements in the family now. The kaleidoscope. Father now checks on your studies often and nitpicks you for sitting or eating or speaking in an incorrect fashion. Once he became so annoyed, he says that he wishes Stephen had been the one to stay home instead of you. You never expected to hear these words from your father. Of all people. Grandfather's trip to the capital took longer than expected. Feels lighter around the house without his presence. You allow yourself a little change of scenery. Instead of your room, you now busy yourself with reading and calculations in the sitting room, across from the open door to the yard. Gloria has joined you today. She has already helped you progress through several complex passages in the book. Right now, she seems preoccupied with a strange tube. Aren't you hurt by the way Grandfather treats you? You ask. Gloria just shrugs. Grandfather always used to say that he should get rid of me. I'm used to it now. It hurts you a lot worse because you're closer to him. I just have to stay out of his way. That's it. She shows you the strange tube she has been holding all day. Look, it's a kaleidoscope. I got it as a gift. You want to see inside? Excited by the idea, you close the book and peer into the tiny hole on the end of the tube. Your eyes see a multitude of intricate patterns. Each turn of the tube reveals a new web of interwoven colors. They mesmerize you. The kaleidoscope turns the fire burning in the fireplace into a cavalry made of flames. You're riding in front of the fiery horseman, ready to face the enemy. Grandfather's face emerges from the intersecting lines and you swing the kaleidoscope like a sword, cutting it in half. Now you look at the blue sky through the window. The patterns are unending, secretive, calm. and peaceful. Just like father's smile before grandfather's invasion. The deep blue gives way to a scattering of gold, radiating gentle warmth like mother's arms. This fleeting beauty too soon gives way to a hypnotic new pattern. Again and again you see your family in these interconnecting figures as they come together and break apart. And in the middle of this golden glow, you see Gloria's green eyes gazing at you observantly. Your sister left you long ago. The books are abandoned and time slips away unchecked. But you are still busy peering into the kaleidoscope. Order emerges from the chaos before your eyes again and again, but you cannot preserve it, no matter how hard you try.